Well, this is turning out to be a very exciting week. One after another, there is so much of positive news coming up, and obviously another news that came up today was Ontario draw. And that's what this video is about. Ontario today conducted their draw under the human capital priority stream. It's the general draw. So under the human capital priorities, they have these two draws. One is the tech draw, where they pick up the specific 6 IT NOC codes. And the other one is the generic draw or the general draw, where they pick out some other general NOCs. These NOCs have been the same for the last few draws that we know, are actually last for the last couple of years. But let's go through that, and I will tell you what draws have been picked up and what has been the cutoff for this particular draw. 23rd of June. Notifications of interest were sent out to Ontario's Express Entry Human Capital Priority Stream. The score, the cutoff score for this particular draw was 464 to 467, which basically meant that if you had a CRS score of between 464 and 467, if you had an active Express Entry profile, then you would have received a notification of interest from Ontario if your primary NOC code was one of these that have been listed. And the ones that have been listed is 0122, the banking managers, 0124, advertising managers, 0125, other business managers, 0601, corporate sales managers, 1111, financial auditors and accountants, 1112, financial and investment analysts, 1121, human resources professionals, 1122, professional occupations and business management, 3012, registered nurses, and 4163, which is your business development officers. So what do you need to do to apply for Ontario and to receive this invitation? Well, you don't have to do anything specific. You just need to have a valid and Express Entry profile. If your primary NOC code is one that has been chosen or one that has been identified in the list, then whenever there is a draw, then you can expect to receive an invitation. Of course, your CRS must also fall between the cutoff range that Ontario will announce. In your Express Entry profile, you would have also obviously selected Ontario as one of the provinces where you intend to reside, or your province of interest. If you have received the notification of interest, then simply head over to the Ontario website under the Human Capital Priority stream. You will find the link to get onto the portal. Once you get to the portal, create your profile, enter all the information and upload all the documents, pay a fee of 1,500 Canadian dollars, submit your application. As of today, it's taking roughly 2 to 3 months for them to process your PNP application or your nomination. And once you get your nomination, you will then receive 600 points in your Express Entry profile, and off you go to receive your ITA from the IRCC, and then you can file your PR application. There are a couple of things that you need to remember. One of that is that you have to have at least 1 year of continuous work experience within the last 5 years for the same occupation that has been chosen in this draw. So if your primary NOC code, for example, was 0124, you should have had at least 1 year of work experience within the last 5 years in this primary NOC code. Another requirement that Ontario is very strict about is that you need to have at least a bachelor's degree equivalency as your minimum education. So this is basically their main criteria, in addition to obviously you having your Express Entry profile and having the CRS score, which was between the cutoff. As I mentioned, the draw cutoff for this particular human capital priorities general draw was between 464 and 467. This was quite frustrating and quite disappointing for a lot of you out there who had a score of 468, 469, 470 and up, because you obviously have been waiting for a very long time. The reason why Ontario's upper limit cutoff is at 467 and has been like this for the last several draws that they have conducted for tech draw and for general draw is because Ontario always conducts their draws in tandem with the last federal skilled worker draw. unless, of course, they are trying to invite only Canadian experience class, which I think they have done once. But in general, they will try and invite all program applicants. So in this case, since the last federal skilled worker, or since the last all program draw, the cutoff was 468, and that happened on the 23rd of December, and then we haven't had an all program draw. So Ontario, when conducting their draw, always chooses their upper cutoff as 1 point less than the last drawn score. So you can always go back and check this trend. Whenever they have issued the notifications of interest, it's always been 1 point less than the last all program express entry draw. Since the last program express entry draw was at 468, unfortunately, there hasn't been after that. Therefore, Ontario continues to issue the upper cutoff at 467. On the other side, there was express entry draw today as well. And that was only for candidates who had received a nomination in their express entry profile, which basically meant that they had received 600 points because they have received nomination. 1,002 invitations were issued, and the express entry CRS score for that particular draw was 742, which basically means that IRCC is continuing with their past trends of PNP and CEC kind of a draw. So I think in a day or two, we can expect another CEC draw, probably with scores that might even drop to 350s or even to 340s for all you know. I mean, depending on the number of profiles, depending on the number of the ITAs. In its entirety, it's all positive. The draws are happening. Ontario is also conducting its draw. Canada is opening up. There is resumption of, COPRs can travel now. There is a lot of positive news coming up, and I expect to see much more positivity going forward. I expect to see much more better things coming up. I expect to see a lot of things that have been stuck in the last few months. They're all opening up. I will always remain forever hopeful, and I can only pray and hope that all of you get whatever you desire for. That's all from me, folks. Thank you so much for joining in, and I shall see you next time. Take care.